Yugioh Duel Links. Choose from over 700 classic cards to build your ultimate deck. Unlock and play as your favorite characters. Summon powerful monsters and become a duel master.
Yugioh Duel Links was first released in Japan on iOS and Android on the 17th of November 2016, and worldwide on the 11th of January 2017. The game uses the format known as Speed Duels, which is a modified version of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game rules. Players start with only 4,000 life points each, they only have 3 monster spell and trap zones, their deck is reduced to 20 to 30 cards, and the extra deck is reduced to 5 cards. Players also only start with 4 cards in their hand, and each deck can have 1 skill assigned to it. Each year since the game's release, Konami has been adding new worlds and cards to it, starting with GX, going all the way up to Zael. With the game having already been out for 4.5 years, and with 67 booster boxes having already been released, I decided to check out what this game is like for someone new coming into it with nothing. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! For about 8 years when it first started, starting with starter decks Yugi and Kaiba. I eventually fell out of the game, and it's been about 12 years since that point. But after 12 years, I'm now looking to get back into the game and find out what I've missed. But I've been keeping up with the anime, so I know what pendulums are, I know what links are, I know how to play the game, essentially. Logging in for the first time, I am treated to an endless amount of pop-ups for events and tutorials, followed by a crash. This is something that happened a lot, and I mean a lot. I thought it might be my phone's connection to the internet, but even the Steam client crashed over and over and over again. The game prompted me to buy the Gaia structure deck. So I did. I was prepared to spend £5 to £10 on the game to get myself going. I was a little worried because mobile games are all cash sinks that want you to spend thousands of pounds for what you can find in a £50 copy of Legacy of the Duelist for the Switch. And I'm happy to report that this game is no different. Am I seeing this right? You get 3 cards in a pack? Free? So all of the booster packs that are released here only have 3 cards in each pack. This does mean that you get additional chances at rares and super rares, but for £1, these are essentially the same ratio of pounds to physical cards, a physical booster pack giving you 9 cards and being around £3 in the UK. Though it's still better value than Hearthstone, I guess, somehow. Now, what I do like about this is you can see what cards are left in the booster box. So if you have already gotten the card that you want to get, you can refresh that box and try and get a new card. And it also tells you how many packs are left in that box, so you know how many packs are going to be left before you basically get every card that's in that box. The downside of this is usually only 1 ultra rare for each card is in that box, meaning that you could potentially have to buy upwards of 300 packs in order to get free of all the ultra rares that you want to get. And especially if you're a completionist and you want to get free of every card, this can mean buying a lot of packs. You can also buy a deck slot for £1. Where have I seen something like this before? One of the more interesting things I found are that cards that are of common rarity in the normal TCG Yu-Gi-Oh game are ultra rare in this game. In the physical trading card game for Yu-Gi-Oh, there were always cards in every booster series that were good, but also only common rarity. That doesn't seem to be the case with this game. All of the good cards seem to be higher rarity. I don't know if that's just Konami wanting the players to spend more money to get these cards. One of the good elements about this game, though, is the duel trials. They act as a sort of tutorial for Yu-Gi-Oh itself, which is not something I see in other Yu-Gi-Oh video games, and the tutorials appear to be very extensive, covering all elements of the game in some fashion. Anyway, here we come to the first real problem with this game. The computer duelists are all shit. Their decks are based upon you starting the game in 2017. Even if I hadn't bought the structure deck, the cards I would have pulled from the latest booster pack would have made my deck far better than this trash. Thank God there's an auto duel button. Huh? There's an auto duel button? Why the fuck am I even playing this game if it plays itself? Breathe. But you know what? There's actually a certain level of satisfaction I got from letting the auto duel happen. It's actually a pretty cool feature if you want to use it for the purpose of refining your deck. You can make changes and then auto-duel a few times to get an idea for what starting hands are like, and how optimized the deck is. I guess it's more of a management game at this point. Huh. Though I don't think this was the developer's intention with the feature. And okay, so you can't actually auto-duel story opponents, or opponents from the Duel World Gate, and real-life opponents. Which begs the question, why even have these AI opponents at all? At the very least, upgrade their decks, Konami. You can't even use them for training. Their only point is to fill the requirements to level up the Duel World, which is the next thing I should come to. Progression in this game works by leveling up your Duel World, which is done by completing tasks. Leveling up the world does eventually increase the difficulty of the AI opponents, but primarily unlocks new duelists for you to be able to use and increase your standard duelists. Because yes, if this wasn't already enough of a phone game, it basically has a stamina system, limiting the amount you can play against the AI. So each time you face an AI, it uses up a standard duelist, shown at the top of the screen here. These recharge over real world time. And once they're all used up, you can't continue to level up your Duel World. Unless... Yep, you guessed it. That'll be £2, please. In all honesty, perhaps because of all the events going on, I only ever got stuck without standard duelists once in my time reaching stage 23. Fortunately, the game refreshes them when you level up a Duel World, so I found myself using any spare duelists in other Duel Worlds before returning to my main world and leveling it up. This meant whenever I ran out, I usually had another world I could level up and keep playing. Anyway, I guess we should get back to the actual duels. I actually think the board looks nice, and I like how the monsters come out of the cards. Initially, the character you are will say lines, etc., which are cool for about 5 duels before getting super annoying and I had to turn it off. I wish there was an option to enable it though for just story duels to add a little bit more epicness to them. And the amount of stuff that happens after a duel, like, oh my god, going through all these menus takes longer than the duel itself. It's not actually as bad here, but when I started playing they had a number of events on, and it would take me a good minute or so just to hammer the OK button to get through all the menus. The gems, however, that I received came in at a very steady pace, affording me the ability to buy lots of packs. And now the other big issue. Throughout my 20-ish hours of playtime, I must have opened over 100 packs, but my deck barely changed at all. Yugioh Duel Links has already gotten into a position where you need a deck that synergizes with itself. Which means if you don't have all the Blue Eyes cards that all work together with one another and are all super rare or ultra rare, you're not going to have a good time playing online. The Gaia structure deck was already very synergized by itself, meaning that I only did minimal changes to it over the course of my 20 hours. Only cards of ultra rare rarity were of any worth to the deck. And out of these 100 packs, how many do you think I pulled? Trust me. It's so low that you don't want to know. The point is, I feel my experience was definitely soured because I barely changed my deck. I wanted to open packs and go, oh, that's a card I want to try out. But I never did. Also, when at the lowest ranks, winning a ranked game was still pretty difficult, with many AI opponents at low ranks already having these super synergized decks. Now let's talk about that hack message you see up the top there. I'm not impressed by it. During my entire playtime of playing this game, that hack message was always at the top of the screen. Just going by, going, oh hey, have some free gems. Oh hey, 9,000 gems at a discounted price. As a new player, I don't feel safe playing online and not dueling against cheaters. Why spend hours and hours and lots of money building up a card pool if the game will have cheaters playing it with everything? And how has it taken Konami so long to not take down this message? Now, I know I've been harking on this game a lot. I do think it has a pretty bad new user experience. Honestly, I feel that Konami needs to do a complete overhaul of the game to make a more refined new user experience, and perhaps drop the prices of the old booster packs more than they already are. So this will make it easier for newer players to catch up faster. However, Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself, even under the new rule set, is still a fun game, and I found myself easily entertained for hours, which is not something I can say about all phone games. In the end, as much as I want to get annoyed with this game, I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And because of that, I loved my time with this game. The constant events meant logging in every day was exciting, and I have to say, the absolute best thing about this game was that this has been the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links new user experience by That's Effin' Rich. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. This has been That's Effin' Rich, and I'll see you in the next one.